Hey guys, today I want to talk about the misconceptions of a compressor. So many people tell you that attack is the time it takes for a compressor to start compressing after it goes above the threshold, and many others will tell you that release is the time it takes for the compressor to stop compressing after it goes beneath the threshold. This isn't necessarily true. Attack is the rate of time it takes for the compressor to compress after it goes above the threshold, and release is the rate of time it takes for the compressor to stop compressing when it goes beneath the threshold. The rate means that the compressor starts compressing immediately. Let's say your attack is 100 milliseconds, but when it reaches 10 milliseconds, instead of it being 10 to 1, it's going to start, your rate of compression begins quite softly. It starts off as quite soft. So 1.1 over 1 means that every 1.1 decibels it goes over the threshold, you're going to hear 1. So you're not losing much. But when it goes to 20 milliseconds, it might look something like between 1.8 to 2.1 to 1. My maths isn't great, but you can see where I'm going with this. When the attack reaches 30 milliseconds, the ratio goes up, so the compression itself starts to build up more. So if it's 60 milliseconds, it might look like it might be around 5 to 5 or 6 over 1. So for every 6 decibels, you're going to hear 1 over the threshold. And the same can be applied to the release. But here's the catch: most compressors, although they start immediately, just because you set an attack of 60 milliseconds and 100 milliseconds on your release, for example, most compressors will not reach your full ratio by the time it gets to your target milliseconds. So by the time it reaches 60 milliseconds of its attack and 100 milliseconds of release in this particular example, it's only, the rate of compression is only 66%, or 2/3 of compression have been done. Usually 66%, but some compressors may differ, of course. Some of them will almost do 90% or almost all of it. One of the important aspects in a compressor that people always keep missing most of the time is making sure that they are gain staging properly. So not only are they reducing the dynamics, but the music is not but making sure that the music remains the same volume as it was before the compressor. So let's gain stage the compressor so that the output is the same as it was before. Okay, so now with compression, you can see that I've compressed it quite a bit, 6 to 1. So for every 6 decibels, it goes over minus 12 decibels on the threshold. I'm only going to hear 1, and I've set the attack to 56 milliseconds and the release at 105 milliseconds. So 2/3 of the compression will be occurring there. Some people might set their attack and release really quickly, and that can choke the sound. So let's hear what artifacts that gives to the drums. With a lower threshold, the artifacts become more obvious, because the lower the threshold, the more likely the audio will be affected. So you can see I've aggressed it's quite aggressive even without any makeup gain. But now if I was to add another 7 decibels, then we'd get the original volume back without the compressor. But as you know, it's a very, very different sound. Most compressors will have a makeup gain, which is unfortunate because whenever you compress on analog, whenever you use analog compressors, you don't have to worry about gain staging it as much. It typically doesn't affect the overall volume as much. If we double the threshold, so put it to -24, the choked sound is much less obvious, but it's still there. Without. With. So yeah, just be aware of your levels. If you want it to be louder, don't use a compressor. Just gain it. Just set it as high as you need to. Whether it's distorting or not, just don't use a compressor for this unless you really want that sound, a particular extreme sound that comes with pulling the makeup gain so high with this compressor, because you have to also consider that this is quite a character-based compressor. There's a lot of saturation that comes with it. It's quite aggressive. It's not as transparent as other compressors. At the same time, you don't always want your attack and release to be too long. But again, with a slow attack and release, I think there was a diagram from musicsequencing.com which shows a snare, two diagrams of a snare. The left one is the original one, and the right one has the second peak compressed with an 8:1 ratio. All the other peaks aren't compressed, and that might be because there's a fast attack and fast release. If the audio isn't passing and going beneath the threshold, and you have fast attack and release, then that can be a reason as to why your waveform is barely changing because of the way you set your threshold. If you found this video useful or helpful, then please go to KiloeveReviews.com. If you want to see any more posts from myself, Ronnie, Sophie, Jay, or Dan, then please have a look at their posts at KiloeveReviews.com. There will be a new post coming out on compression and especially on attack and release, because many people get this wrong and it's really hard to grasp. I had no idea how much there is when it comes to the attack and release. I will leave links in the description below so you can see where I'm getting this information from. You're not going to find what I talked about in terms of the attack and release in books and YouTube tutorials and in lectures. I also did a post on 4 different limiters: the W1 limiter, Loud Max, limiter number 6 by Vlad G, and limiter number 6 by TDR. Hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you have a great day.